Every single time you turn on the TV, you cannot go through a single commercial break without seeing a misleading drug advertisement telling us about this new disease, and the only way to cure this new disease is with this new drug. I believe that we can all agree that this cartoon portrays how drug ads are misleading. As you can see in the cartoon, there you see a bearded man holding a sign saying, "The end is not near, so try Prozac." And as we're just done reading that, we're all left confused. I believe that government agencies should further regulate drug advertisements in order to inform consumers rather than to persuade them. There are a few things that drug companies do in order to optimize their sales. First, they establish a target audience, or where they're going to place their ads. For example, if they're with Viagra companies, advertise more during football games, and often they're in order to increase their sales. And if they advertise in Nickelodeon, it probably wouldn't do half as well. There's also another thing they do known as relabeling. The name speaks for itself. They literally relabel the same chemical and pass it off as something else. For example, Prozac, which is used to treat symptoms of depression and social anxiety disorder, is the exact same chemical thing as Seraphem, which is used to treat PMDD. There's also something they do called condition branding. A prime example of condition branding will be in the commercial I'm about to show you.
Grow lashes. Grow longer, grow fuller, and darker lashes.
Grow? How's that possible? I'm using Latisse, the first and only FDA-approved prescription treatment for inadequate or not enough lashes. Applied nightly as instructed by your doctor, Latisse grows lashes in as little as 8 weeks, with full results in 12 to 16.
If you are using prescription products for lowering eye pressure or have a history of eye pressure problems, only use Latisse under close doctor care. May cause eyelid skin darkening, which may be reversible, and there is potential for increased brown iris pigmentation, which is likely permanent. If you develop or experience any eye problems or have eye surgery, consult your doctor immediately. Common side effects include itchy eyes and eye redness.
Grow longer, fuller, darker lashes. Ask your doctor if Latisse is right for you. Find a doctor at Latisse.com today.
Alright, there are several problems with this ad, at least that I see. First being is that the drug that they said was only used to treat for Latisse was actually originally another drug that was meant to treat glaucoma. Just a side effect of that drug was growing longer eyelashes. Another one being, as I explained before the commercial, was condition branding. And they say that hypotrichosis is the inability to grow eyelashes. Hypotrichosis is actually the inability just to grow hair anywhere in your body. Just let your imagination come alive. And also another thing was doctor recommendations. They say that if you want to see a doctor, go to Latisse.com. I believe that if you go to a doctor on their website, most likely they've been unethically influenced or financially influenced in order to promote Latisse, because they've been given a free lunch, vacation, or something else like that. The chart shown here shows how many ads were released between the years 1999 and 2004. The bar in blue shows how many ads were reviewed by the FDA. The bar in red shows how many ads were released but not reviewed by the FDA. As you can see, between the years 1999 and 2004, the bar in blue goes slightly down and the bar in red increases. Drug companies are required to report any serious side effects that are reported to them within the first 15 days of the drug's release. But this chart shows how many were reported between the years 1990 and 2004. As you can see, it increases fivefold between the years 1990 and 2004, which is a lot. Side effects are increasing, which I believe is a fact of why the FDA must regulate more drug ads in order to prevent these ads. Here are a few current drug advertisements laws that are required by the FDA. First, if they're printing a broadcast, they cannot be false or misleading. They must present fair balance, and they must present fact material, which means they would just have to tell them where to get more information. If they're just printing, they just have to describe risks. And if they're just broadcast only, they have to describe risks and make an adequate provision. Again, it's just simply a place to find more information about the drug. There are those that believe that drug ads are fine the way they are and they're not misleading whatsoever. For those of you who don't believe, those of you who don't agree with me, I bring up Paxil. In 1998, Paxil was released to treat social anxiety disorder. Only 1 to 2% of the American population suffered from this, and with that, 4 million potential patients. However, by the year 2002, there were 30.4 million prescriptions. This was also a brilliant example of condition branding, because most of the time, people would see this ad, and if they thought they're sad about anything, they should take the drug. I believe that if the Food and Drug Administration and the Federal Trade Commission were to further regulate it, there would be no more Paxil incidents. Well, I'm gonna make a Matrix reference there. All right. First, you can take the blue pill, go home, and just see more misleading ads and just do nothing about it. Or you can take the red pill and you can see how much farther this rabbit hole goes.
Connor, if I spend $1 billion bringing a drug to market, why should I not be entitled to promote the sale of that drug and make a profit?
Say that one more time, please.
If I spend $1 billion, as your paper suggests, bringing a drug to market, why should I not be entitled to promote the sale of that drug and make a profit?
My problem isn't with the actual advertising. I understand if you're going to advertise something, you want to make money. But my real problem with things is it's just like how the drug advertises.
So it's more an issue of advertising or something.
Yeah, not the actual concept of advertising. It's how you're reaching the consumer and how they're using sometimes, as I also mentioned in my paper, sometimes how they're influencing doctors somehow by sending them to some fancy hotel or something like that.
Okay.
Okay. I also have a question for Connor. You mentioned in your presentation Paxil, that seemed a lot more people were prescribed it than should have been. Did anything bad happen due to all these prescriptions? Were there any, I'm just wondering I get the point that too many people got it, but was there any negative impact of all these people having a drug maybe they shouldn't have had?
I don't know specifically of any, but of any side effects that the drug may have had, they're mostly unnecessary because most of those people didn't actually need to take the drug because they just thought if there's anything bad in their lives that they should take it. So there could have been unnecessary side effects that they need and suffer.
Oh, it's for Connor. So you put up a graph that discussed the number of safety reports that have been submitted over the last 20 years or so. Do you know if the number has increased because there are increased safety issues with the newer drugs that are being released, or are people just talking about it now because they're more aware of it?
It's not the amount of side effects are going up. It's the amount of ads that aren't regulated by the FDA are going up, and due to that, they couldn't be entirely truthful, or it could be something that could be needed. And actually, the FDA cannot require that a drug company submit their ads before release. So there are times when the public will see an ad before the FDA.
Okay.
Connor, last week there was a very important United States Supreme Court opinion which said that corporations could not be prohibited from buying political ads. I don't know if you're familiar with that. In light of that decision by the Supreme Court saying that corporations were persons whose free speech could not be abridged in terms of buying political ads, Don't you think that that also, that reasoning would also apply to the drug ads?
Do you have more time, please?
Last week, there was a United States Supreme Court decision that said that corporations are persons under the First Amendment and that their right to buy political ads cannot be abridged. In light of that, doesn't that same reasoning apply to drug corporations, that they should be allowed, under the First Amendment, the right to buy drug ads and to say in the drug ads what they want to say?
No, I don't believe so, because they can't, from the First Amendment, they can't just say anything about the drug because, the First Amendment, because they tell it about this drug, it'll be like, improve your life or something like that, just like in every way possible. You just can't say that because it's not true.
Why? I might not believe that a corporation's political ad is true, but they have the right to say it. What's the difference? If this case goes to the Supreme Court, what's the court going to say?
Well, there's something that, like, someone's saying directly in their, well, the drug in general is just, if they tell them that there's like, if they just say anything about it, it's not good because, and they don't mention any side effects, that's bad because, I don't know, like a side effect of the drug could be like, just something not good, and that's, they can't just say that's perfectly fine and it's going to help you a lot in every way, shape, and form.
So, Connor, I was just wondering, what is the FDA's definition of misleading? Because, I mean, Latisse, it does grow your eyelashes, per se, and, I mean, they don't say, like, outright, it will make your life better. They just
Right.
insinuate it. So, like, where is the line drawn, like, in federal policy between misleading and not misleading? If you don't know, where do you think the line should be drawn between misleading and not misleading?
Well, I just said, I actually have no idea where the line is drawn, but if I were to judge, I'm trying to say, like, if they're misleading, they're thinking that that the drug is pretty much perfect, and they're just things that are like side effects, or if they're in the background when someone's having a good time or something, and the person just magically takes this drug and they have a better life. I think that's pretty much where I draw the line of misleading.
So, I'm just gonna clarify really quickly, you'd rather have, like, pictures of, like, side effects on commercials rather than just pictures of happy people? Or would you
Well,
rather have
then-
happy people than side effects?
Well, I just believe that the side effects should be more like, they should be a little more pronounced than they are right now, because they're a little bit, I just feel like there's most of the time, as they show in the commercial, they say the side effects, well, the person's like having a good time, going to a party, dancing with a cute guy, that's not always gonna happen when we take that drug.
And then just, one more question from your paper. You gave us there's two studies with drastically different results about pharmaceutical spending. The IMS study, which showed that there was more money spent in research and development, and then the study by Gagnon, which showed that there was 2 times more money spent on advertising. Do you know why the results were so drastically different here, or if you don't know, would you care to speculate on that?
I'm not sure which, but I think it was the Gauss thing that didn't it didn't cover like everything, and like just like promoting their drugs to like doctors and everything. Like they didn't count
So
that.
the kind of like the technical advertising part was different?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, your thesis in your paper is that pharmaceutical industry needs to stop spending so much money on advertising and instead put it towards research and development. And I'm wondering, it's kind of a 2-part question, how can you guarantee that they're actually gonna take that money and put it towards research and development and not, more bonuses? But then also, if, we were to go with the Canadian healthcare system, and we're gonna, be this one big conglomerate healthcare thing, would the pharmaceutical industry in America lose money and therefore not be able to kind of continue the development and research that they have been doing? Because you said that, you know, the United States is putting out the most drugs. So how would you kind of connect all of this?
The answer to the first part of your question, as I mentioned in my paper, that a good portion of the money that they put in advertising their drugs is to like giving like doctors a bunch of vacations, free lunches, and stuff along those lines. So, and they can that's pretty much, I see that as unethical. If they could like stop doing that, they can probably put a lot of that money into development.
But do you have any
drugs.
way of
They're buying.
enforcing that?
Yeah, because if they have money to send someone to a resort, then they should have the money to make sure they develop their drug more.
But there's no way to enforce that they're gonna, like, yes, they have the money, and I agree that it's awful that, like, the money's being spent the way it is right now.
Right.
But is there any government way, do you see a law being passed or anything that's saying this money is now not for advertisement, but it's for research and development?
With the doctors, there is a law saying that I can't do that, but they're like somewhat doing it like indirectly, so they're like sort of like sliding themselves like little loopholes. So there is no like direct government regulation in which they can actually make them spend more money on research and development.
Okay. And then with going kind of the Canadian way, do you think that a lot of that money would be lost so we can't have as much research and development? Because so much of the money that we do spend goes directly to drugs, and because not as much money is spent when you're in a nationalized healthcare system, will we still have, you know, profits to continue development? Do you think?
I'm not entirely sure, but say that one more time, please.
Hmm?
You say that one more time, please.
If you go to a nationalized healthcare system, drugs for us will be cheaper, healthcare will be cheaper. So the money won't be going, I would suppose, as much to the pharmaceutical industry. Do you think that that would be another place where we lose money on research and development, and the United States wouldn't be able to continue, you know, pumping out all the drugs that we are right now?
I don't think that would exactly decrease or increase profits, but not research and development. But if they had less money to spend, they most likely would have. Well, in my opinion, they should spend more money on research and development, because if they have less money to spend, they should spend it more on their drugs, just to make sure they're a lot safer. Because if they spend on like telling doctors that the drug is perfectly safe, someone's gonna see a problem thinking like this drug is not completely safe at all. It's not gonna help people as much as they say it should.